It's Halloween, and I don't think Halloween would be complete without a mutant flesh-eating pumpkin that tears an entire town apart. Let's get into it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a Halloween movie that is appropriate for the season, and that is Carve, which, by the way, is directed by Justin Harding, who was the director of Making Monsters, and I actually did an interview with the entire cast of that movie and had a blast talking with them. So I was surprised to find out after watching this movie that it was directed by Justin Harding. He did Making Monsters last time, which was a little bit more serious, but it had some mixed tones in there that I don't think everybody understood, and I think was great. Now, he had help writing on this because he wrote it with Cheryl Meyer, because there is a large cast on this, and you know, there's just a lot of people to have to write for. But before I get into the cast, this movie is essentially about a small town who is living in a sort of historical reenactment town where they, you know, have a lot of history. And there has been an accident in the town that basically spilled a bunch of chemicals on a railway. Sound familiar? Yeah, probably the inspiration for this movie. But they're trying to recover from this big accident that happened in their town and almost decimated it. And unfortunately, it caused a flesh-eating pumpkin to be mutated into a killer machine out of nowhere. While they're having their celebration of Halloween, everyone is torn to shreds. Of course, it's going to be up to a team of people in the town who are putting on one of the biggest plays they've ever put on: drama students versus giant flesh-eating pumpkin. In other words, it's going to take a lot of guts to take out this pumpkin.
Boo, boo, this is terrible.
I mean, I thought it was funny. But yeah, so the characters in this movie, there is a lot of people and a lot of known faces that you will definitely recognize. In fact, there's a couple of Disney alum in here that you might recognize from something like Andy Mack, because Peyton Elizabeth Lee, who plays the lead Kira in this movie, was from Andy Mack, and she played Andy. We also have Corey Fogelmanis, who played Cody in this movie. He was in Disney's Girl Meets World, a spinoff of Boy Meets World. We also have Elvis Nolasco, who recently was playing the character of Mr. Crockett in Mr. Crockett, which was based off a short that got turned into a feature just like this film. In fact, Justin Harding wrote a short for Hulu before called Carve. But it's nice to see Elvis Nolasco here because he was really great. He plays a reporter in this movie. We also have Maddie Carteropple, who is in this movie, and I hope I haven't butchered the name, but he plays, you know, the classic stoner guy named Clint in this movie, and you may recognize him from Stranger Things or Reservation Dogs. We also have DJ Qualls, who's returning to the screen with comedy, which he got his start in Road Trip.
It's good.
But he's back playing the mayor of the town named Bill, and we even get Chris Elliott, who's in this movie, playing Earl, the father of the stoner, who was in Groundhog Day, There's Something About Mary. He's a comedic legend, playing a really weird accent too, by the way. I'm not sure I was 100% on board with. And then last but definitely not least, we got Jonathan Craig, who was in the movie Making Monsters that Justin did before, and I got to hang out with after our interview, which we had a blast. He makes a cameo in here as the camera guy. I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit, but I will say that some of the humor just did not pan out for me. And, you know, humor's subjective. Like, I can have a good time and watch a movie that isn't exactly 100% funny no matter what. It's sometimes the timing, I think, in this film, and also sort of the jokes. Every joke is a little bit different for everybody, and this movie obviously is grabbing on to the tropic way, which is to have X situation, bad situation occur to X situation group. Like, say there was engineers, they would make engineering jokes about acute angles and designing and things. Well, this is drama students and a flesh-eating pumpkin. So obviously there's going to be some drama jokes in there, and some of the characters do a good job of doing that. But I still was blown away by the over excess in gore. I straight up went into this movie thinking it was a modern take on Goosebumps. It definitely is a lot gorier than I ever expected. The first kill is probably one of the best in the entire film, but there's a couple of people in this movie that kind of annoy you and get their just desserts. So it's kind of nice to see that too. And I kind of like that they just decimate the cast regardless of who it is. No matter how attached you are to them or you expect them to live or not, they don't give a shit. A lot of people die in this movie, so that's a good thing. And I like being surprised by those deaths because it is much more impactful on the viewing experience. But that's just my opinion, of course. You may find this movie extremely hilarious, and it may be the funniest thing you've ever seen. That's the crazy thing about humor. When I watched Making Monster that Justin Harding did the first time, I found it to be extremely funny, and there is an undercurrent of humor in that movie, whether he meant to do it intentionally or it just came out in just being how Justin is. I found it to be funny in parts of the movie that other people did not. And I think in that movie, people were like really confused as to whether they should laugh or not. And this movie, Carved, they're taking like straight on the nose, let's try to be funny intentionally, and that is going to win some folks and lose some other folks in different parts. But what ultimately I think this movie is a Halloween movie about a killer mutant pumpkin, and you gotta see it, period. Especially if you're gonna add a lot of gore. It's just a great holiday season movie to watch. And there aren't that many out there this year, so let's just be clear. I liked the pumpkin in the movie. I thought that the CGI that they did on it was actually pretty spectacular. There are a kind of small, minute issues in the film that I could point out if I really wanted to be over specific, but I've seen far worse movies that do CGI than this. This was actually really well done, and the team that did it, I think kudos. But yeah, it is CGI. You can't make a sentient pumpkin and not do that. I mean, I guess you could, but you can't just throw a fucking prosthetic pumpkin at people all the time and expect everyone to be happy. They do what they can here. There's prosthetics and there's prosthetic gore, and it's not just all CGI gore. And I really enjoyed it for that. And I think it kind of carries this film a little bit more than the comedy did, even though it's leaning on the comedy in order to do it. One of the first kills in the movie is probably one of my favorite, by the way, but you'll get to that when you see it. But there are a lot of creative ways that people die in this movie, a lot of weird, sticky situations that people get themselves into, albeit kind of tropey in other movies I've seen, but it's all kind of just to see the fun gore and make jokes and have fun anyway. It's not like you gotta take it too seriously. Some of the characters felt like they could have been a little bit better, but I think overall the film is shot well and done well. It's just kind of up to the viewer if you're gonna find it funny or not. But I would give this movie about a 6.5 out of 10. It could go up, it could go down. It really is kind of right there for me. And some of you may really enjoy this movie and just love it, and that's great. At the end of the day, all I can do is just be honest with you and tell you my thoughts. And unfortunately, this one didn't do it for me like Making Monsters did. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the film.
Oh, sure, you know, because your fucking podcast or YouTube, whatever's good, right?
Everyone's a critic. But what did you think, guys? Did you enjoy this movie? Have you seen this movie yet? Do you have a Hulu subscription? Are you going to get one? They have a lot of stuff on Hulu right now, including like American Horror Stories that has come back on the 15th. So you got a lot of different other stuff on there to enjoy if you are kind of on the fence. Get the service. Just to let you know, there are other things on there that are Halloween themed that you might enjoy if you are considering doing it for a month. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you think about this movie, about pumpkin movies. Did you see the short? Did you see Making Monsters? Let me know what you think down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and the little bell notification to let you know when I got a brand new Halloween Voidtober celebration video for your viewing pleasure. Thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the Void.